Be sure to go to flipsidegaming.com and use promo code 6 for 10% off on orders over $10. It's a good deal and it helps support the show. What is up, Planeswalkers? Theurix6 back with some more Magic the Gathering Arena. Today, we're going to be playing a fun Sultai deck that involves the good old-fashioned Uro. This card is pretty damn good. It's a pretty strong card, and we're going to be playing with. You know what? We're actually going to cut one Arboreal Grazer, throw in another Uro. We're going to go and craft that. There we go. That's how good this card is. You just have more. This deck is a deck given to me by a longtime channel viewer, Twitch mod, Discord mod, all-around cool person, Enigma, who apparently is going by Twister now. You people need to stop changing your names. I've used Theurix6 for years. But regardless, this is a really fun deck that aims to abuse a bunch of ETB triggers to just win the game. And one of the coolest combinations here is the use of Dryad of the Elysian Grove with Dread Presence. Now, as soon as Dread Presence came out, I absolutely loved this card. I still play with it in Historic Chromatic Black. And with Dryad of the Elysian Grove, all of my lands become swamps. And since they're all swamps, all of them will trigger Dread Presence. And since Dread Presence is based on an ETB trigger, they get doubled with Yarok. Absolutely a fun and fantastic deck that hopefully I'll get to show off some of the cool value combinations that you can see. We're rocking 3 Arboreal Grazers. It was 4 a second ago. You all saw that. The main reason for this is because we don't have any 2-drops, and we want to be able to get from 1 to 3 as quickly as possible. Because 3 is really where we start getting to go off. Yes, technically it does mean we're going to have fewer lands in hand once we get to our Dread Presences and things like that. But it's also a really helpful blocker against the aggro decks, and it does, as I said, accelerate us to 3. We're running 2 Omen of the Dead, sorry. Another great ETB to use with Yarok. This card allows us to get back something that died. For example, if we have an Uro, but we don't have enough cards to escape it, but we really need that 3 life, or 6 if we have Yarok, then we can go ahead and Omen of the Dead it back, play Uro for relatively cheap, and we're in a nice spot. What's really cool is this does have flash, so if you don't have anything in the graveyard, you can hold up a single black mana, and at the end of your opponent's turn, during your opponent's turn, when they blow your board up, you go ahead and, alright, well, I'll go ahead and Omen of the Dead, get back my Dread Presence, play your Dread Presence on the following turn, escape your Uro, yada yada yada. All that would be pretty cool. So I do like Omen of the Dead, and it's great because you have additional ability with it by being able to sacrifice it if you have excess mana to scry 2. Dryad of the Elysian Grove is a 3-mana 2/4. That body is a wonderland. You get to play an additional land every turn, which is on each of your turns, sorry. Which is just fantastic because we really want to be a big mana deck, and it makes it so that all of our lands are every basic land type. As I said, that already really works really nicely with Dread Presence, but what it also works nicely with is Golos, because once our lands are all infinity colors, we can use Golos' ability, even though we don't have any lands that naturally produce Golos' colors. Fantastic. Uro is a broken card. I don't know if it's broken, but it's damn good. 3 mana for good old-fashioned gain 3, draw 1, draw a card, and you may put a land on the battlefield. Doesn't have to come in tapped, so you can even play this and have more mana to do more things on the same turn. It's crazy. And then, of course, you can escape it, and you'll have a great 6/6. This card is pretty damn good. 2 Omen of the Hunts, another way for us to get lands. This is obviously fantastic with Yarok still. We don't have a ton of basics in the deck. We only rock 6 right now. It's possible that this should be more. We are only running 25 lands. I found that it should be okay. Essentially, when we're able to, we should not search for basics. When we have to, we should search for basics. Just because we have so few in the deck. Hasn't been an issue yet. If it is an issue, technically you can modify the mana base a little bit, but we're rocking a weird Sultai deck, so. But yes, Omen of the Hunt is fantastic. We get to search our library for a basic, put it into play, tapped. We can go then, from Arboreal Grazer into Omen of the Hunt into Golos, right? 3 into 4. Yeah, if you play a land next turn, you can be on 5, right? And that's a really good play pattern in that you're getting this huge chunk of mana, and you have so many ways to draw cards later in the game, and Omen of the Hunt helps you out by, once again, being able to scry 2 for sacrificing it. 2 Thassa, Deep Dwelling. You might be saying, why are we playing this? Well, 1, we get extra ETB triggers from Golos and Agent, but 2, we potentially can make a lot of mana with not a ton of ways to use it. We do obviously have Golos and Agent of Treachery. Enigma did modify a version, that had Finale of Devastation as well as Endray's Forerunners, or Endray's Boar. I don't remember the damn name of the actual card. But I didn't like how often those cards would get stuck in my hand, so I decided to cut those, bring back the Arboreal Grazers, and really lean into Thassa's ability to tap things down. Not only is this something that can delay your own death by tapping down your opponent's attackers, but it means that the few creatures we do have can make an impact by forcing them to block poorly or not be able to block at all. So yeah, that is cool. Dread Presence is kind of like the linchpin in this deck. It really helps make the deck work. Whenever we get a swamp into play, we get to either draw a card and lose one, or drain something for 2. Both those abilities are fantastic. You will use them frequently and interchangeably. 2 Nylea, Keen-Eyed. This is another card that we can just dump our mana into. Differently to Thassa, whereas Thassa is kind of a stall engine or a win engine, Nylea is just we got a lot of mana, not a lot of dudes on board, let's look for some dudes. That's dudes with 2 O's, by the way. She makes your creature spells cost less. For what it's worth, when your gods are in your hand, they are creatures, so if you have a Nylea out, Thassa only costs 3. That's really cool. But what's really cool is she makes Uro only costs 2 mana, making the card even better than it already was. You, of course, can then pay 3, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature, you can put it in your hand. Otherwise, you may put it in the graveyard. So, for example, if your opponent doesn't have any creatures, maybe you're playing against a control deck, and you see that Deathsprout is on the top, you'd be like, nah, I don't want this, and you chuck it in your yard. Speaking of Deathsprout, it's a removal spell that lets you get a land instead of that good old-fashioned Assassin's Trophy. This one gives you a land. It's okay. It does cost 4, but the fact that it gives you a land is relatively important in this deck because we want to be getting lands constantly. Speaking of getting lands constantly, I'm going to go and skip Yarok for a second to talk about Golos because I like segues, not the thing that you write on because those things look like a nightmare. Golos gets you a land. Any land you want, you put it into the battlefield tapped. Fantastic. Of course, then you can pay 7 if you have Dryad, Ilysian, Grove out, and then you just get to play things. You just get to play all of the things, and it's fantastic. Also, it's a 3/5 for 5. That's not bad. Yarok, also a 3/5 for 5, also costs, I just said for 5. Shut up. Has Death Touch and Lifelink, fantastic. But essentially, if a permanent enter the battlefield causes an ability to trigger, you trigger it twice. Double triggers on Agent, Golos, Dread Presence, technically Thassa, because Thassa can bounce the things you care about, Uro, your Omens, your Scry lands. It's utterly fantastic. Just a nice linchpin, shut up. And it has lifelink, which can help. This is the mana base. As I said, not rocking that many basics. It's possible we should be rocking more swamps, more basic swamps to work with our Dread Presence. However, we do want a decent number of early game forests, so that's why that's like that. And then we have a decent number of temples, and the reason we have a decent number of temples is 1, temples are totally helpful, and 2, we get to double scry with them. That's nice. I did play one practice game today. Obviously, if you want to see more of a lot of the decks I'll be playing in the coming weeks, you can double check on my preview event stream, where I played most of the decks I'll be playing for the next few days, so you can get an idea. Obviously, there are going to be differences, and that's why I still think you should be watching my videos, but you can see some of the baseline things. Draken is... this hand is pretty slow, which is unfortunate. Our opponent took Mulligan, which is nice. They're playing with the Chandra Sleeves and Fibblethip. We are in non-ranked, just because I figured I didn't want to go against too many people who are, just trying to crush people who are trying new things. I think I will keep this, just because Dryad is really good, but I might get run over. One of the issues about playing a heavy mana deck that doesn't actually include ramp creatures or just many early game plays in general. Right, Omen of the Dead, not an early game play. We went against Simic Ramp and we actually won. They were able to get out Anissa relatively quickly. Oh, hell yeah, bud. See, this is exactly what we want. We get a Grazer into our breeding pool. Next turn, we can play a Dryad. And then we just need to draw more lands. Is the issue. We need to draw more lands. Paradise. So this is probably another Simic Ramp deck. Which is fine. But against the Simic Ramp deck, we were able to get a Dread Presence out and just keep killing their lands off. Motherfucker stole my card. They are playing the Temur Steal Your Shit deck. Very rude. Since I can't cast this anyway, I'll go ahead and flash this in, put it back in my hands. There's the Nissa. This one, it looks like it's gonna do a little bit poorly. They seem to have had a pretty decent hand after the mulligan. If I can top deck a black source, then I just top deck an untapped land actually. Then I can oh no, it has to be a black source. I don't have you out anymore. Then I can kill a forest. I'll take the 3. Blink the forest. Coward. Alright. We're going to grab a forest here. Okay, so next turn I can play Yarok. Risen Reef plus Thassa is going to help them out a lot. Man, Nissa really is the strongest card from Theros.
Harness the elements.
Yep, they blink Risen Reef to get pretty damn good value. I think I have to play Yarok here. Hope I get to keep my Yarok. Then I draw a land. That would be an untapped land. That would be the best outcome. Unfortunately, I'm worried that that won't happen. I will likely need to block this turn. My opponent might just use Thassa to tap down Yarok. But my opponent has a lot of mana, so... I wouldn't die, even if my opponent were able to tap down all my stuff. I'm a little surprised by them not turning a creature in. Or land into a creature. I don't like that sign. Oh, I think they're just going to tap my Yarok down, maybe? Deathsprout. This comes in tapped. Yeah. Fortunately, I can't do that then. So I can kill a Risen Reef. I can kill the forest. I kill the forest. I'm generally worried about an Agent of Treachery, but I'm hoping. Cavalier of Thorns, that's fine. I now have enough mana so that as long as my Yarok lives, I can steal their Cavalier and Nissa. 2, 4, 6. They could have 6 mana.
The land fights for us.
Sharon. Okay.
I've learned a bunch of new burn spells. Don't worry, I brought company.
Probably still taking Nissa Cavalier. Gives me the best options. Man, my opponent's really just going all in. I assume they're going to attack with the 1/1s. They might as well. Might as well attack with the Risen Reef as well. I don't know if they'll risk the biscuit. Yeah, they decide to. I'll block the Risen Reef out of spite. So we're going to go to 10. We're going to steal Cav and Nissa. Search your library for any number of forest cards. Yeah, I mean, I'm fucking stealing. You're going to blink your land so it can no longer be a land. So I don't destroy your lands? Possibly. Stealing this, thanks. And yeah, I think I have to steal Cav. I could potentially play Dryad here by plussing, but I am very worried that they have their own theft. So I think I'm just going to, well... Yeah, I think I'm going to -8, just so they can't take it back.
When the land speaks, I shall listen.
I'm getting all of these. They're all coming in tapped. I'm going to attack Chandra. Yeah, I'm going to attack Chandra because I really want the life gain. Yep, I'm fine with that. On upkeep, I'm going to actually sack this to Scry because of the amount of mana I have.
They're so cute.
My opponent desperately looking for... Well, I don't know if they're desperate, but definitely looking for something to do, something to buy. Sure, that's fine. I do need to be wary about Omnath. During the stream, I died to an Omnath because you cast it, and then I take damage, and then Thassa bounces it, then I take more damage. My opponent can mass manipulation like my entire board. I'm hoping they're just playing a Crisis. Because they were just tapping manually. Okay. Just a Crisis. I'm fine with just a Crisis. Especially considering I have a Cav. No, bounce your Crisis. Do it. Come on, coward. Bounce your Crisis. One has 27 cards left. Sack this to Scry, because I have a decent amount of mana. Golos would be great. I don't think Dread Presence is worth having. Because if nothing else, I'm playing the Dryad and the Thassa this turn. And I'd rather just try and get a better card. Now, obviously, if I top deck a land, it's not great. It's not great, but... They will have the ability to tap stuff down. The question is, do I tap down... Do I tap down the... I think I tapped down the Crisis now. And attack Chandra for the kill? I'll gain some more life. I have Cavalier that I can block with, which I'll probably just get... Probably Deathsprout? Death back.
I thought this was a sparring match.
Ah, baby, I forgot about this. I'm gonna be honest, I totally forgot. I'm going to take this. Probably shouldn't have hit Chandra, but... No, fuck it. I think I'm gonna take their Paradise Druid as well. Maybe I take their Thassa. I'm gonna take their Thassa. I'm gonna keep my Thassa. Yes! We outvalued a better value deck. Hell yeah. And that's how this deck's meant to go. Grunbeld? Why do I feel like that's an anime reference? Oh, we don't have any green. God, I'm mulligan this. Well, we do have green. Gonna keep this. Gonna drop one of the Arboreal Grazers. And I hope I draw, like, nothing but lands for a little bit. Still doing this because if we draw land, we can play an Elysian Grove. Dryad of the Elysian Grove early. That's just nice. Going against Izzet. Possibly Izzet draws things. Obviously going to attack. We have to show our opponent who's boss. If you don't attack with a Arboreal Grazer on an empty board, you're a coward. So it could be Izzet Flash, not Izzet Flash. Unlikely to be Izzet Flash at the very least. Didn't draw land, which is unfortunate, but, you know, it's fine. Still didn't draw land, but, you know, it's fine. Totally, totally fine. Our opponent's just... I forgot to attack. It is Flash. That game didn't happen. Come on, deck. We're playing 25 lands. Look better. Make me look better. If you ever wonder why I'm looking over here, it's because this is where my my OBS is. Jace Joe, funny name. So I'm just looking at myself to see how stupid I look. Ooh, okay. And we get to go first? Don't mind if I do. We're gonna Temple and try to get another land on top. That is another land. So turn 2, turn 3, we play both lands. Turn 4, probably a Dread Presence into an Omen. Seems not fucking bad. They screw out of the top. Gotta be a lot of Simic going on. We're gonna drop the Agent of Treachery. It's possible we should keep it on top, but I want to make sure I have my value train going before I start trying to take things from my opponent. Sultai as well. Alright. I see you two are a man of culture. Ah, you're a Sultai Mill deck. Cool, cool. I like it. So my opponent's going to be playing Uro as well. They might actually be playing Uro like this coming up turn. Play Dryad into Overgrown Tomb. Tapped. And then next turn, we can play Dread Presence into Overgrown Tomb. I know it's Tomb, by the way. So let's see if they play Forest into Uro. I wouldn't be surprised. If that is their play, I will kill their Glowspore Shaman. Yeah. No, they just play Lazav. Alright. So this is definitely a an Uro deck. They have Lazav to clone the Uro. Goose, sure. Okay. I'm gonna get 2 hits off my Dread Presence, so I can kill either the Lazav or the Gilded Goose and the Glowspore Shaman. I just don't know which is better to do. And the reason I'm okay with doing that is because if I draw 1 land next turn, then I can play Dread Presence Omen of the Hunt to get more triggers again. 1, 2, 3. I think honestly I would rather just kill these 2. I mean, there's an argument to be made to just draw a card and kill the goose. So I think I'm definitely going to kill the goose. I can kill the goose and draw a card. But if I draw a card, I might want to do that first. Kill both. Put them to a decent number of cards, but they still have to have Uro. They'd have to cast Uro. And before they get to actually use Uro, I'm going to lean on the side of just killing my opponent's stuff. That's just the value I'm used to doing. For me, you know, a lot of Magic players are like, oh, the best thing about Magic is drawing cards. For me, the best thing about Magic is mercilessly killing my opponent's creatures while maintaining a sweet board. Could attack, not really a reason to. I ain't got no tricks. This does force me into the hope a little bit, because I'm going to want to draw land so I can Dread Presence into Omen, but meh. And actually, land into Dread Presence into Omen means that I would be able to kill this and draw 2 cards. Because we play Dread Presence first, we play the land, we get 2 triggers, we kill the Lazav, then we Omen, get another land, draw 2 more cards. I think it actually would be better to draw a card first. Not entirely sure. I definitely like what my opponent's doing here, and they might not be an Uro deck, which would be weird. Like, I feel like this deck just is begging to be a Uro deck because of Lazav, but what do I know? Not a lot. We got a land. Absolutely fantastic. So we're going to go and play this. We only have 1 black. I'm not worried about anything here, I don't think. Because I can play this for sure, giving me 2. I'm going to draw a card first. Draw a card. I played 1 land. Draw 2 cards. And 2 cards. I'm pretty likely to get another land. Even if I don't get another land, to kill the Emery, I can still definitely kill the Lazav with my Omen of the Hunt. Because, yeah, so I'm going to draw 2. Not a land. Not a land. That's fine, though. We can still kill the Lazav. My opponent can turn the Lazav into a Gilded Goose, but it doesn't actually matter. I'm going to grab a forest here. And the reason I'm grabbing a forest is because just in case my Dryad dies, even though I have one here, it should be okay. What the fuck do you do again? Choose target artifact card in your graveyard and make cast that card this turn. I don't care, that's fine. And I am going to attack. My opponent could be playing some sort of 1 mana effect, but I'm not too worried about it. Next turn I can Agent of Treachery and just steal some shit. I have nothing in my graveyard. Oh, I'm taking that Temur. That Temur was mine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah.
And find.
What are you looking for, friend? Another Lazav. Yeah, just Sultai Self-Mill. But if it doesn't have Uro, it should. For sure. For sure. In 65 years in the past, I want to Civil War with my beard. I'm here to whoop your ass. Single blue source. Emery. They could play Ventress Gargoyle. Alright. Do I want to play Titan instead? No, I think I just want to steal their shit. Yeah, I really value stealing their shit. Yoink. Thanks. We have 2 Dread Presences. I'm gonna name Golos, I think.
I know I noted this somewhere.
Maybe I just name, like, Omen of the Dead? So that if we get... no, I think I'm just gonna name Golos. When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore. I'm gonna swing with everyone. Because I don't care if Temur dies at this point, because I got what I fucking wanted. That's love. When the... oh, the value! I live for the value, baby. So good. Oh, I just love it. There's nothing better than value in the morning. I don't need to use Omen of the Hunt. See, if my opponent hadn't played Tamio, and they played like something like low value, I would have just used Omen of the Hunt on upkeep to try and draw something great. But we didn't have to. And this turn we don't have to because we have a Golos. We play Golos. We get any lands. We drain it. We kill the Emery. I do not care about Ventress. You can't even block with this. That's unfortunate for sure. Fuck it. Yes, I'm so glad Dread Presence is good. Well, good. That right there is that shit I do like. This, I got a random pack of Ravnica for some reason. We're gonna go and open a pack of fucking the new set. I don't know what that was about. That's Oracle. A deck like this will be coming soon. There were some cards in the sideboard. If you play this in best of 3, my suggestion, you're gonna want graveyard removal. I don't think technically anything here has that. Well, Return to Nature is actually not bad. You're going to definitely want graveyard removal. You're going to want a decent amount of creature removal, namely for the mono black and mono white decks. So anything that can exile gods, for example, would be pretty good. And then probably something else against aggro, but to be honest, against aggro, maybe just have a decent 2-drop. Honestly, maybe even a Lazav of your own. Lazav of your own would not be terrible. But yeah, I mean, this deck is fun. A lot of rares and mythics. I grant you that. Definitely not a day one craft, but you know, if you're nearing the end, if you're like, okay, I've played all these boring meta decks, I want to play something fun. This is real fun. I'd like to thank my lovely patrons, especially Zin, for the continued support. They allow me to do things like this and donate to Wildfire. No, it's not Wildfire, is it? Well, Australian Fire Relief Funds, because that shit's serious. I'm going to attempt to find a suitable link. If you can give literally anything to help Australia out, I'm gonna, if I can find one, I'm gonna find a link and put it in there. But there are definitely ways that you can do so. Being able to support other countries, in my opinion, is important from natural things. I just made this more somber than I should have. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this video. before I had a dark turn. If you did, go and tap that like button, add subscription to your mana pool, cast a comment in the comment section down below, pass the turn in the vid to some of your friends, and of course, until next time, all will be one.